All right, Oval and Sister fans, BET fans in general, this is kind of a follow-up video to the one I did a couple days ago about the post I saw on Instagram, pretty much with the concern of, well, hasn't been known in recent years to have shows that last longer than 4, maybe 5 seasons, and could the Oval and Sistas fall into the same category? Now, there were a good amount of comments on that post, and it made a lot of sense. You know, you had those who felt that, yeah, I mean, this could explain why Sistas feels like season 3 has hit a dry spell, and, you know, well, the Oval still hasn't even finished season 2 yet, so it's possible that given time, it might get to a point where BET might pull the plug on both shows once they get around maybe season 4. But then on the flip side, knowing that Tyler Perry is a partner with Viacom now, it's possible that, you know, there might be a situation where that changes, where maybe because he has such a huge following on both of those shows, the ratings are good on both of those, are great actually on both of those shows. So I feel like, you know, they will continue the shows if the ratings were there. But then again, on the flip side, you know, I said, well, I'd rather the shows end around season 4, maybe 5, just because I want the shows to end before they reach haves and have-nots or The Simpsons or even SpongeBob levels of, okay, why are you still on the air? The quality is nowhere near where it was in season 1. And I mean, to be honest, I think Sistas and the Oval season 2, I don't know, it's hard to say if I would say season 2 is better than season 1, but I just know that there were some improvements on season 2 for both shows that I noticed were, you know, better than season 1. But I will say this much. Then it got to a point where, you know, people were kind of going at it in regards to which show they feel could last longer than the other. I've seen some people say that the Oval, theoretically, if done right, I feel like the premise is there for it to last longer. But then other people say that for Sistas, and to be completely honest, unless there's some tweaking the storylines, I could see Sistas not lasting too much longer, but rather branching off into a spin-off series. And no, I'm not talking about Bruh, but I mean a series with characters and sisters that people actually want to see. Like, I honestly I cannot say that there are 5 people who want Gary and Andy to end up together. I don't think there are 5 people that I can name off the top of my head. I'm talking about people who I speak with on the regular about these shows, or even in the Facebook group, and that group almost has like 300,000 people. I don't think there are more than 5 people who honestly say that they want Andy and Gary to end up together. I feel that there are far more individuals saying Andy's being written to be so dumb, so oblivious, and it's just, you know, a bad representation of women or black women in general. Everybody's talking about Zach and Fatima, or Danny and Preston, but more so Preston, because Danny's just ruining a good thing, and that's about it. So unless there are some major changes done to Sistas within the next back half of season 3, possibly season 4, I would rather say the Oval could last, even though there's the MacGuffin of, well, Jeremy, what about that huge packet of information Diane handed Priscilla? I mean, if she gave that to Sam, that would shut things down. True, but that's the thing of it. Yes, there's this one, like, bomb, if you will, that could be used to shut down the entire administration, but that's why they're kind of stretching out the Priscilla hating Sam story for so long, due to the fact that if she gave that to Sam, there's a good chance a lot of this stuff could get shut down immediately. But, you know, some people are like, well, yeah, they could do different things, like, you know, go through Hunter's whole term. That's not going to happen. The only way we would get through Hunter's whole term is if, it lasted 10 years, because what the show's been on since 2019, we're almost at like the 2-year anniversary of both the Oval and Sistas, and it's only been maybe a couple weeks since Hunter been in office. So I highly doubt we'll get to the point where we'll get 4 years of Hunter's term in office. So, I mean, just looking at the fact that the Oval has so many characters and storylines, and Ruthless, you know, they're really doing a far better job tying Ruthless and the Oval together than Bruh and Sistas. So I honestly do feel like if only one of these shows had the chance to survive past like season 4, I think the premise is set up for the Oval to do that as opposed to Sistas, because one of the main things is despite the humongous amount of cast and characters on the show, the storylines are all interwoven for the most part, and there are so many characters to spread out with the storylines. I think it could work. Basically, for lack of a better phrase, for the most part, every character on the Oval, whether they know it or not, plays a role in the grand scheme of things. Sistas does not. It just seems like even though we're not even 3 full seasons into the show, there's been such a lack of growth or development for a majority of the cast that it's gotten boring to a lot of fans. I mean, there are people who literally say, I fast forward through the Maurice stuff. I fast forward through the Andy and Gary scenes. I only wait for the Zach and Fatima stuff. And hell, sometimes they only take up 2 minutes of an episode, so I don't even bother watching the full thing. So I honestly feel like when you compare the Oval and Sistas, based on what I've seen, I think Sistas gets a lot more flack from fans than the Oval does. And that's not to say the Oval season 3 won't be hot garbage either, because it's possible. Like I said, season 2 in some respects has been better than season 1, but season 3 could tell a different story. And remember, they filmed season 3 a while ago. So all I'm saying is I feel like the Oval could outlast Sistas. I do feel Sistas has the advantage where I think there are better discussions to be had after watching an episode. The Oval, it's kind of like, wow, that shit was crazy. And then that's pretty much it. But Sistas, we can have, in-depth discussions about certain characters due to the fact that they're so relatable. But I will admit, I think that it is, easy to see why people feel like because of Tyler Perry's partnership with Viacom and the popularity of both shows, these could last longer than 5, maybe 6 seasons. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it was around the time he was declared a billionaire, and he, there are articles and interviews. I think there are only maybe a couple more years left on his current contract with Viacom, because if I'm not mistaken, things started rolling in 2016, 2017 for like a 5-year contract with Viacom, and look how much he's done in that time. And with Tyler Perry filming so many things in advance, I think around 3 to 5, or maybe between 4 to 5 seasons for the Oval and Sistas sounds about right in regards to getting the shows filmed and distributed on Viacom. That should last around the time his contract ends. So I don't doubt, part of me doesn't doubt that Tyler might sign another contract, but we'll see Tyler doing other various projects where it's possible that the Oval and Sistas might be written or, created by other writers and directors, not just him, because I feel like Tyler is really kind of going backwards in his creations. What I mean by that is, instead of creating a lot of new stuff, he's working more on, like a Jazzman's Blues, like his first script he ever did, and he's bringing back Medea. So I feel like if nothing else, Tyler's definitely making things that Tyler wants to make. Well, obviously things that he feels his audience will gravitate towards, but at the same time, I think that we're seeing a Tyler who's more concerned about creating things he wants, which I can't blame him for doing so, because it's just like a lot of, different artists and whatnot who put out certain music to cross over, and then once they do that, they can be, who they want to be. They make music they want, like, Lady Gaga, for example. But I do think that the Oval could outlast Sistas, but then again, I could see both shows only lasting maybe 4 to 5 seasons, and then we'll get other projects, because like I said in my other video, I'd rather these shows cut off at a certain time before they get so boring and they feel like such a chore to watch, and see Tyler create something different, because of the fact that, even if Sistas ended after, 4 or 5, I'd rather the show end on a good note, possibly even get satisfying conclusions, and then we can get something else. I mean, that's what I would like to see, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Would you like the Oval and Sistas to last more than 5 seasons, or would you eventually want them to, close up shop and make way for new Tyler Perry productions? Because you just look at the fact that he's been doing so much that the Tyler that ends his current deal with Viacom is obviously not the same one who started it back in like 2017. So who knows, maybe for all we know, there could be an even bigger contract with yet another network other than Viacom for him to do more product with. You never know. So let's talk about it in the comment section below. And with that being said, I'll speak with you all in the next video.